Hi everyone! I'm filming this video to try to show knitters how to crochet these little squares. And what I'm going to do is use a heavier weight yarn than I use here. This is done in fingering weight yarn. And the idea is to make them all the same size. You'll block them before sewing them together to make a blanket, so they'll all be exactly the same size. But I don't want you to think this is something that's really complicated, because if you can knit, you can really do this, because crocheting does not allow you to drop stitches, you'll be happy to hear. So this is like a really good instant gratification project. So I just grabbed out a crochet hook for some DK yarn to show you. This is a US H, but it's actually a little bit big, so I can just show you how to do everything. So the first thing you're going to do to start is to make a slip knot. And most of us know how to do that from knitting. So just like you do in knitting, you're going to just make a knot like this. And then you're going to put your hook in. Tighten it down. Now there are different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you one simple way. Now hopefully you've done the lesson already, or you learned to chain. So we are going to make a loop by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to slip stitch into that first chain like this and just slip stitch in. Okay? So what I like to do is to move this knot over and kind of pull it out of the way like this. I don't know if you can see that. You'll find your own favorite way to do this after you've done a few of these. So for the first round, we are going to chain 3. And there are 4 rounds for this. So we've chained 3. Now we're going to do 2 DC or double crochets into the center. I don't know if you can kind of see the center. You'll have to kind of find it for yourself on your yarn like that. So we're going to put 2 in there. So like that, 1 and 2. Now what that's done is given us 3 stitches. The chain looks like 1 double crochet and then 2 more. So now we are going to chain 2. Now that's going to give us a space. We're going to double crochet 3. And we're going to do that 3 times. Chain 2, double crochet 3. 1, 2. Trying to go slowly. You'll suddenly get very speedy at crocheting. 3. That's once. Chain 2 and double crochet 3 times. 1, 2. Now you see, you start getting to this too. Don't worry about that. You can just move that little knot out of the way. And 3. And we need to do it one more time. Chain 2 and double crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we need to do a final chain 2 to join it. And we'll join that to the 3rd chain up. It's a little bit hard to see, but the 3rd chain up of your initial chain. Just right here. And you just join it by pulling it through like that. You don't actually do a stitch. So now you should have 4 spaces. See if you can see. Let me take this off. You'll see it, and it looks like a flower. A flower with 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's your first round. So to begin round 2, or the second round, the first thing you're going to do, if you're following along with your pattern, is to chain 3. So you'll chain 3, and then you're going to double crochet into the next 2. So counting the chain, that will give you the equivalent of 3 double crocheted stitches on this side. Okay, so if you look at this, it looks like you have 3 stitches if you count the chain. So now what we're going to do, what I call the corner sequence, which is into this space, you're going to do a lot of business there. You're going to do 2 double crochets, then you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to do 2 more double crochets into every corner here. And that's going to give you enough fabric to kind of turn the corners and keep it into a square. So corner sequence, double crochet, so I'm getting a little bit of yarn splitting here. Chain 2. It's because I'm using an extra big hook to try to make it visible. Double crochet. All right, that's the corner sequence. Normally I don't want it this wholly. I'm going to, I would size down in a needle for this. All right, so if you're following on your pattern, your second round, you're going to double crochet into next 3 stitches, CS, which is corner sequence. And you're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, those are the 3 spaces. You can see they look like little braids on the top. That's what I do. I'm not saying it's right. There are 10 ways to skin a cat, and I am not an expert hooker. 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to do the corner sequence. 1, 2, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. 1, 2. Okay, see how we're coming around? We're forming a square. So now we want to go into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And you know, that first stitch is always really close. 1, 2, 3. Isn't it nice how you can't drop a stitch? Now we're going to do that corner sequence. 2 double crochets. Chain 2. 2 double crochets. All right, and we're going to do the last one. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more corner sequence, then we will complete round 2. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more corner sequence. 2 double crochets, chain 2. By the way, if you hear water in the background, I'm not peeing, it's actually raining, okay? And 2 double crochets. Okay, now what we're going to do is, this time we already have the 3 that we need, so we're just going to go to that last chain, that chain 3, and it can be a little tricky because you want to kind of grab them both. I do, I like to grab both strands. And you're going to put your hook in, you're going to yarn that over and pull it through both stitches. So you're not actually making a stitch. So see, we've got, I'm trying to use kind of terms that I think knitters will relate to. I actually am not sure if you call it a yarn over, but we're all getting there the same way. All right, so that completes round 2. So what's happening on each subsequent row, the beginning of our round, or our square, I guess we should say our square, is happening a little further in from the corner. So you just heard a squirrel in the wall, sorry. So you will have to do some extra crochets at the very end. So that's why you can't just repeat your previous round. So we are going to begin with a chain 3 for round 3, just like before. And then we are going to do 4 stitches, okay? We are going to double crochet 4 stitches. Try to get in there. One, 2, 3, 4. So now we have a total of 5 with the chain, which is good because the other sides you're going to want to do 7, okay? And then we will make up with 2 at the very end, if that makes sense. So now we've got our corner sequence, which we're probably getting very good at now. 2 double crochets. And it's like knitting, you want to keep that yarn moving along. Mine keeps getting hung up because Sharon from security keeps grabbing it. You'd think she'd know the difference between a criminal and an errant ball of yarn. Okay, chain 2. Double crochet 2 times. Now we are going to do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You might want to look ahead of time, remembering that that first one is going to be very close to your corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like I'm teaching kindergarten. 7. But I want you guys to get it. I'm sorry if I'm going too slowly, but I want everyone to understand it. This is a new skill. Now we do our corner sequence. 1, 2, chain 2, and you'll be whizzing through this soon. 1, 2. Now we're going to do the 7, and you might want to look ahead just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, corner sequence. 1, 2, chain 2, 1, I have no way to lock the cat out. I'm grabbing the yarn. 1, 2. Now remember, we only did 4 double crochets on the first row, plus we had the chain, so we need to make up 2. So we're going to do 1 in there and 1 in there, and that will equal the 7 to equal the other sides. 1, 2. And now we will join it by that official word, which I'm not sure, where you just grab it and pull through. Grab the top of the chain 3 and pull through. And it's looking pretty good. The holes are going to be bigger than if you do it with your scrap fingering yarn, but you get the point. Round 4. So we're going to chain 3, And then we're going to knit into the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I said knit, I meant crochet. 3. Sometimes hard to see. 4. 5. 6. And then with the chain that makes 7, and then we will make up the 4 at the end. So now we'll do our corner sequence, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Keeping in mind there are different ways to do all this, so if you've learned a different way, don't even pay any attention to this. Keep going your own way if it works. And then 11 down here, so you might want to count them out. So 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now what I do is I start on the one that's really close. Now some people might say that's the same space, but that's what I do because it's, especially if you have a blunt needle, it's hard for me to get into that one. So I just shift them over one. So I count 1, 2, 3, and purists may argue with me, and that's fine. I'm mostly a knitter, but this works and the outcome looks good, so that's all I care about. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, then we do the corner sequence and repeat it all 2 more times. So I will fast forward that until the end. Okay, now I've completed my 12, so now I have 1 corner sequence to do and then 4 stitches, and then we are done. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, whoops, it's getting a little bit hairy there because I've taken it out a couple times. 4, to try to make the video, and because Sharon from security was chasing the ball. Whoa, okay, you will not have this problem at the end. And then the top of the chain 3, just yarn that over and pull it through both stitches, and then pull it all the way through like when you're binding off with knitting. And there, you've got your nice granny square. The first of a couple hundred you're hopefully going to do. Thanks for sticking with me here.